doing? Great. Oh man, yeah, beautiful day. A couple of little pockets of clouds gave us a little reprieve there. Was begging them to just stay right there in that spot, But hey, this is November in Florida, right? Every week's a new lesson for me. What we got?
So you scored 37. That's not enough.
Yeah, yeah. So love the progress, right? We love to have that spark. We were all sitting in here having the same conversation for weeks, trying to get something going. So I was really excited for the guys. Another great end of game finish for the group. So I love that part of it, and then yes, 37 points, but you guys saw it. We came out of the half and they had an answer for the stuff we were doing. They made it hard on us and we were punting the ball, and we're putting our defense back out there a lot in the second half, So that's where I got to get better, learning and taking those lessons of, okay, hey, we're playing with a lead here, and they've been drawing up all these things that worked in the first half. Take the next step and try to protect those things instead of going right back to them. Because in my heart of hearts, I'd love to just run it and run them out of the stadium and go away with the win right there. But so that's where I can get better there.
You're driving for the go-ahead touchdown. Do you think the clock management, or is that handled by someone else?
We're all kind of talking, but of course, for me, I got to be thinking, what's the next sequence of plays? What do they call in this different scenario? So I'm really focused on that. But I do have a lot of experience being that clock management person in Seattle. Was trained by a veteran coach, Carl Smith. He's excellent at that and was really fast with the responses. So I kind of have those things. Improvement for me was just, talking about the Atlanta game, maybe pop a run at the end. We talked about that in here, and we hit a nice run there, right there towards the end of the drive that forced them to use a timeout. And then we got into that really weird situation with the fumble play that just put us in a hard spot. But even in that situation there, I'm like, where's the ball going to be at? What hash is it on? And then here's the next couple plays. I have to be focused there. And Coach does a good job of just using all the information he has to make decisions.
Mike and Chris are given so much attention.
Yeah.
There's been a need for some other guys to step up. And
yeah.
we saw that, it seemed like, from K-Dot, and to get 2 touchdowns in that game. What allowed him to be able to have the success that he did? Is there something that he did to be able to kind of step up and
right.
kind of have one of those good games?
I think that the intent, of course, let's talk about it. Let's get Mike and Chris the ball and find more creative ways to move them into spots where they can't deploy an extra defender to take those guys away. But what we saw was Trey on the play, he actually fumbled. They put a lot of attention on Chris. Here comes Trey ripping in, the checkdowns to Rashad, the checkdowns to Cade, getting Cade one-on-one in different situations. Those are the things that I've been hoping would happen as teams divert their attention to where Chris and Mike are at, to allow these other guys to make plays for us. And, of course, Baker just learning how to connect with them. So that came to life for us pretty good in this game.
Really, the last 2 weeks, Rashad 20 of 20 out of the last 20 attempts to him. That's become really efficient.
Yeah, and that speaks, going back to the versatility, right? The kind of the player that we knew we had in Rashad, as we get this run game going, and you see the different styles of runs he has success on. He's a patient runner. He's got good vision. And then just in general, just our mid-zone schemes coming together, hitting the combos right, which we saw early. Again, the second half, they kind of, really started running at us and making it hard. But yeah, just finding different ways to get Rashad the ball. What types of runs, what types of passes? Is it a screen? Is it just the checkdowns where we get him in space? Making him a part of the progression like we had early on in the red zone. So he's really been helping us in that regard.
Looking at Tennessee's defense, Chris Godwin said yesterday that you guys need to be physical.
Yeah.
How would you characterize your team's physicality and how that might play out on Sunday?
Yeah, I would say again, are they where I exactly want them to be right now? No. I would say that since the Buffalo game, we didn't get I can't come up here and tell you we're getting the 150-yard rushing day results, but what I am seeing is running backs running harder, offensive linemen finishing the blocks, using their hands the whole time, the tight ends chopping on the backside, on the front side, getting their hands on. The receivers, even Trey, some of his holdings are really aggressive penalties, so we're heading in the right direction. But I think until people regard us, as a physical unit, that's the litmus test. Are we making them play heavier loaded boxes? And we saw a little bit more of that balanced in the Houston game. As the run game got going, we started seeing a little bit more safety down. we were able to take advantage of some shots down the field, a couple to Mike, and some other ones that were near misses. But yes, I would love to keep trending in that direction and make that be kind of our personality of how we play.
Dave, with the offense, you said they're running harder.
Yeah.
Offensive lines finishing their blocks more.
Yeah.
How much of an impact was having Stinney there doing that?
Stinney did a fantastic job, right? And I don't want to go into the specifics of what we're going to do this week, knowing Filer is getting back to his health. And really, in general, we don't like to say a guy loses his job, due to injury, but it's a really hard decision for us right now because of how well Stinney has played, and Matt was playing pretty good too before that. So I don't want to give too much more information other than that, but we got two good options there at left guard. So
The rushing average, I think, is up the last couple weeks. Is he seeing the holes or hitting the holes harder than he had been maybe early in the season? It seemed like there was some hesitation at times.
yeah, it's a growth thing, and it's not just Rashad. It's the whole thing. It's all of us. It's me. As a first-time coordinator involved in the run game, it's the run game pod, building great runs that allow us to see what's happening and gather information, and then it's the guys up front just getting that muscle memory of striking the combos the right way, and yes, Rashad pressing it, and reading the runs the way we want him to, so the whole thing is improving, just like the way we would like to see it.
If not for obviously the comeback by C.J. Stroud in the last
Yeah.
40 seconds or so, that kind of robbed you a little bit of, and I'm not playing the defense, but
Right.
Baker he has the moment, right? He
Yeah.
brings you down the field in a must-score situation, gets you in the end zone, overcomes a fumble, overcomes a big loss. Like, just can you talk about just how, even though you didn't win, he showed that he's going to bring you down in those situations and what that can do.
Yeah, he's a fighter. He's a heavyweight fighter. He was 70% completion, on the day, which was great. And I think that, a couple of the weeks before that, we had kind of gone down a little bit in our completion percentage. But the way I see Baker and just his mentality and the way that you've seen him kind of his passion and the way he emotes when he's out there, it's like he can't wait to knock you out. You put your gloves down, he's going to try to knock you out. And he looks for those opportunities. And we've hit some, we missed some. But when we get into those end-of-half, end-of-game situation, it just fits his nature of who he is. He loves the chaos. He loves the fight. He loves it to be messy, especially if the defense starts chirping at him. Then he just really, I don't know, it does something to him where it brings him into just a style of play that he likes. So, yeah, I couldn't ask for better, production out of him in end-game, end-half situations.
Touchdown, you had designed that. You thought you might get that look at some point during the game, and Otten and him communicated that. Can you talk about that play specifically?
Yeah, I don't want to give too much. I just, we were looking for the one-on-one matchup, and we felt like Cade was a good matchup against their Mike linebacker, and so they played it. They gave a lot of attention to Mike and Chris on the left. They gave a lot of attention to Trey on the right side, and there you go. You're just staring at a one-on-one matchup, and it was just a really timely, accurate throw, a finishing catch, which is the thing that we've really just been missing, is just kind of that rhythmic passing where guys know exactly what's going to happen. That's my high hope for this group, is that all of the plays become that. It's like we call this play, whether it's third down, red zone, or first or second down, it's this defense, ball goes right here. Or it's this front, ball's probably going to go here, here, or there. And we start to anticipate that, we'll see faster play, we'll see tougher play. We'll see more aggressive play from a group that's confident and really assured of themselves. So we're incremental, we're getting better every week at that, and hopefully we can build on that again.
Speaking of mentality, you're talking about Baker.
Yeah.
I know this is your first year with Todd.
Yeah.
But it's a 4-game losing streak.
Yeah.
He seems the same to us. How is he doing behind the scenes?
I mean, the thing that I appreciate about Coach and the thing that I'm grateful for, my first time being a coordinator, is to be with the leader who just stays the same. And he makes it about the football. He doesn't get into any side stories or ulterior motives. He just says, guys, let's just look at the things that failed in the game. Let's improve these things and move forward so that nobody has to carry any extra baggage for any other thing. It's just play, do what you're asked to do what you know how to do, execute it at a high level, play hard, and that's the one thing he keeps telling the guys, I can't knock you guys for the effort you're giving in this 4-game streak right now. I can't knock you for the effort, but if we can get tighter on our fundamentals, then we'll see what we can become. And that his consistency is just, for me, even on the sidelines, in those situations, calmly telling me, I'm thinking this if this happens, right before it goes. Hey, if we do this, we're in 2-point, and just kind of communicating those things, very, very, steadily and calmly to me. That's really helpful for me. So I kind of follow his lead there.
Players have bad days,
Yeah.
right? Self, one on defense, you've seen guys on offense.
Yeah.
You were a player at one point. What do you do to get past this is the biggest stage in the world, right?
Yeah.
Millions of people watch.
Yeah.
How do you get past that? How do you reset? I know you don't have much time in the
Yeah.
24-hour world, all those cliches, but how do you handle that if you have I call the worst game in the world, what am I gonna do next?
Yeah. So for me, it's when you're in those situations, you feel like your back's against the wall. The only thing you can do is fight, but you got to be fighting something. And so giving them something tangible, giving myself something tangible that I can push up against, like the old image of like pushing against a rope, that's like focusing on things you can't control. But if you can give them something tangible, like this podium here, something heavy that I can press against, it's always my first step. It's always my alignment, my assignment, finish to the ball, look the ball all the way in, put the ball away tight. It's the simplest things. And I'll give Richard Sherman some props, just because, he always played so well in critical moments. And so Coach kind of asked him in a team meeting one time, and he said, talk to us, Richard, especially talk to the young guys about what it's like, these primetime games and all that stuff. And he's like, the bigger the moment, the smaller my focus. I'm just focusing on that first kick, punching my hands up. He went through, I can't remember the exact techniques that he talked about, but he was talking about the most basic, fundamental part of his play, and then just finish the play like you know how. And he said that always settled him. So it's the same approach, I think, in these moments is, all that being said, guys, let's look right here. We got to target this run properly. Hey, we got to get to 12 yards on this route. Now they got something they can sink their teeth into and really push up and fight against, and it snaps them out of that, is what I've seen.
Baker's done a good job protecting the football this year, just 4 interceptions, all at home, though. Is he different here at Red J, trying to maybe impress the fans or make some bigger plays? But overall, he's still protecting the ball well.
I don't know how to answer that. I didn't realize they were all at home, but that's I don't know. He's been an aggressive guy on the road too, and I think there's been a couple that got away from the defense on the road as well, and some of the ones at home that he could help, So I don't know exactly how to answer. All I do know is that he's been very conscious of being on time and getting that ball out in that 2.7 that we like, unless we're taking a shot. So he's just been making really, really wise decisions, and he's playing a great level of football. And as the rest of our offensive unit with the run game and the pass game continues to grow, he's playing the right kind of football that wins games. When you think about playoff games, right? You think about championship games at the end of the season, man, those games are tight. They're always tight, whether it's a shootout or whether it's a 13-9 game or something like that. They're always tight, and it's the team that takes care of the ball that wins those games. So he's playing the right kind of ball.
Trey Palmer had the fumble, obviously, that recovered.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it seemed like he had a good game.
Mm-hmm.
3 catches and 4 targets, had that long DPI that he drew.
Yeah.
He's playing more. He's certainly playing like a wide receiver 3. Where have you seen the best progress for him in this?
Yeah, I think just the first comment for Trey is this is an upbeat guy. Like he approaches every day. He genuinely loves football. He loves being on the grass. He loves being around the guys. He always joking around with the guys, keeping it light. He's got a great mentality and great energy. And then where I've seen him grow is just the details of the pass game, the details of his footwork, because he plays some inside and he plays some outside. And I think he's a real weapon for us as we continue to learn his body type, his speed, the angles he sets. Baker and he are working a lot on talking about those things. But he's applying himself the right way. And so I love where he's headed.
The Titans, they're giving up a lot of yards right now. Mike Vrabel's defenses are typically very hard to play, notoriously.
Yeah.
The Texans had a physical defense too. But when you go up against a defense like that, against a veteran coach like him, where's your mindset heading into the preparation?
Yeah, I mean, every week I'm outmatched by experience, by these play callers. And I feel it too at times. I'm like, I think I got them dead to rights. They changed it, or they're doing this or that to, what we're showing. And so here's another great defensive mind And he's got his guys playing the right mentality. They run and they hit. Azeez Al-Shire, saw him in San Francisco. What a great add to this defense. He's a fantastic player. Of course, you got to deal with Simmons up front. And then just their scheme in general, they don't do a lot. But what they do, they're all communicating and talking, and it's just kind of like this. It morphs as you change formations, and they play their leverage as well. And so it's going to be another great challenge for us. Like the Houston game, they're going to be exactly where they're supposed to be. Can we be exactly where we're supposed to be and execute our blocks and throw on time based on the different style of defenses they play us?
When you're coming off
Couple
a
more.
game where you lose, but your offense takes strides forward, you
Yeah.
play well, how do you balance the critique as a coach and the praise when
Yeah.
you're riding a 4-game losing streak and maybe they need like a vote of confidence or just some positive reinforcement?
Yeah, I think definitely just saying, building on the things that I'm selling to my guys and not selling things that aren't true, but just getting the fundamental play the right way, getting the run game mentality, so then I can really pile on and say, see what happens, guys, when we do this, running the right routes in critical places in the red zone crisply, like there was just some really good football played. Then I get to praise that part of it. But to your other point, we want to win. And so then my brain goes to, okay, I'm encouraged. Definitely, I'll take whatever, positives we can get at this point. But at the same time, it's like I see a second half that started off really slow and, just wonder if we couldn't have scored 49, and ran away with this win instead of, patting ourselves on the back for 37 points that didn't end up in a win, So there is that balance, to kind of say what would have happened, though, if we could have just been rhythmic on a couple drives, our defense is fresher at the end, we could put a few more points up earlier in the half, to play a different style of ball there. So back and forth on that one. Yeah, that is a challenge. You good? All right, thank you.
I gotta correct myself. One in New Orleans, so.
Oh, one. Okay.